What's really good in the neighborhood? It's your boy CJ Goodfella back with the Boxing Clinic early morning grind. Shout out to the subscriber and the homie Mr. DX Factor 87. He wanted me to do a video on is it possible to beat Canelo on the scorecards? And I spoke on this before, just in other videos, but not actually gave it as top subject. And yes, I do take video requests as well. So leave them in the comments, hit the YouTube inbox. I don't know how to check the YouTube inbox on my phone through the YouTube manager, but I do have a Chromebook that I can check it on. But shout out to everybody. Continue to share and subscribe to videos. Like them, dislike them, comment. I'm getting better at getting back with comments and stuff like that. And the hardest working man in showbiz on YouTube, man. I put the work in, and I definitely appreciate everybody, liking the videos. I definitely appreciate it, man. I never thought I would make it this far on my own. I just did it to prove a point that I can, hang with them. And shout out to the homie IOTBA Correa. He hanging with the best of them as well. And I watched his rise, and I'm like, you know what, man, I got to get it too. But, it seems pretty impossible to beat Canelo on the scorecards at that little lengthy intro. But it has been done. Mayweather did it. And Mayweather, to me, pitched a damn near 12-round shutout. I watched that fight. I mainly, watched that pay-per-view at my homie house. I raced home. Well, I raced out there, Taylor, Michigan, over to my homie brother house to watch that fight. And I wanted to watch Matisse and Danny. That was the main reason. And then that was a good one as well with Canelo and Mayweather. And Mayweather, put on a clinic and still got a split decision. And I believe it was C.J. Ross who gave Canelo, a favorable scorecard to make that a split decision. But it was one guy a long time ago, man, before I even got into, talking boxing, to be exact, on a YouTube level. And just chopping it up with him, man, on the internet. And he said that it had been said, he was in a boxing game as well. I'm not going to say his name. But, he said that, that Oscar and his dad, Golden Boy used to have fights fixed back in the day. And I didn't believe him at the time because this is like before Canelo even bubbled and Golden Boy was, just doing their thing. And he said they would have them fixed, and there was words, around them with different fighters would throw fights and they would pay him or stuff of that nature. And I didn't believe him. But like I said, it's before Canelo, but, a lot of people are starting to believe that now, and it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt for Canelo to fight close to Mexico. When we're in Texas is like an extension of Mexico. Mexico used to own Texas, I think up to Vegas and a lot of the other parts in that west and southwest part. They used to be their country until the America pushed them back and the war, the Alamo or so whatever it was. But he fights in favorable venues. You never see Canelo fight out there in New York or go east. You never see him at the Brooklyn Barclays Center. You never see him at Madison Square Garden, no matter how long Triple G is trying to pull him that way. You don't see him go too far past Nevada, Texas, in that area. He fights in those areas not just because, he wants to. It's because he has a favorable fan base there, and Mexicans has been getting favorable decisions there. Juan Baby Diaz, he's not, I think he's American-Mexican, but he got a robbery versus Paulie Malignaggi, according to Malignaggi. You had Pernell and Chavez Sr. You had Canelo and Austin Trout. You had Canelo and Lara in Vegas. And a lot of people, know. When you go fight Canelo, you damn near got to knock him out. When you go out there. Because he ain't coming east. He ain't leaving off those home bases that he sticks on because of that Mexican border right there. And he can get all his fans and his fanfare up there. But it's possible because Floyd did it. But Floyd is Floyd, and he has a wholly different type of vibe and drive to him, and everybody can't do what Floyd did. A lot of people felt that Austin Trout did enough to beat Canelo Alvarez. I was so fortunate enough to have an interview with him when I was with another boxing group, and my boy Big Cool, we interviewed him. I told him, man, if I could pull up the interview, I told him I was so proud of him that he didn't do anything ignorant after that fight and say anything ignorant. He took his L on the chin and kept it moving. You know what it is when you fight Canelo. You need a knockout. So with Triple G, even though I thought Canelo did enough to win the fight, Triple G know that he needed a knockout to win that fight beginning. I seen a number of interviews with him and Abel Sanchez saying that we need to go for the knockout. And he didn't press and sell out for the knockout that bad because Canelo was a master counterpuncher for the most part. And a counterpuncher, you don't have to be the biggest puncher to knock a guy out. Especially when you had a defensive skill of Canelo. You just got to, hit them with a shot they don't see. And that's why counterpunchers are able to score knockouts when they're not the biggest puncher. Because you can hit a guy with a punch they can't see and you can frustrate them. When they overcommit, you can get a knockout, in my opinion. But yeah, a lot of people felt Lara won. I think that was a draw, in my opinion. I could definitely see Triple G winning that fight. The Trout thing, we thought Trout won. I mean, it's possible to beat this kid on the cards. Even in Vegas where you got a lot of gifts, even in Texas where we know the history, or even his home yard of Guadalajara, Mexico. It's possible. And a lot of guys have been calling him out and wanting to fight him still. But, you got to you basically got to pitch a perfect shutout like Floyd or get a knockout just to be in consideration to win on the card. So, I mean, he's well protected as well. He's not going to fight those guys that can really undress him like that right now. They didn't even want him fighting Austin Trout. He had to beg Oscar to let him step up to fight Austin Trout because he's their big commodity. When everything fell apart for Golden Boy with the Al Heyman, Richard Schaefer split, where they were in the contracts out of the fighters, Canelo at the end of the day was they ace in the hole and still the fighter they still control and a big draw. And that's factual. So they're gonna do everything they need to do is to protect him and make sure he still stays squeaky clean as long as they can until they have some of those younger Latino fighters come up and be on the prize level. Ryan Garcia and a lot of other guys they got, Joseph Diaz. But the thing about it is, you got to bring your hard hat on. They know who to avoid and how to avoid. I mean, Oscar's well connected with Sanctioned Bell Bodies as well. Basically, he owns the Ring magazine, so that's why Canelo's able to keep that belt. But I mean, you got to just go in there with the mind state that you need a knockout. But I'm Triple G, man. I'm moving on and being undisputed. I'm not gonna take a chance to get jerked out of making history by getting robbed by Canelo, and I could be undisputed and Canelo gonna be there because I got all the belts and I'm in control. But like I'm saying, it's tough. It's tough to do it, but it can be done. And it's a lot of guys at 160. If Canelo and Golden Boy willing to make the fight, that can knock his block off, in my opinion. But we gone.